So what's been going on in 2019? Best moment for me was Boris Johnson becoming Prime Minister. No, it's not. That's not. That was the worst. Literally the worst moment of the decade. What was the best moment of 2019, bruv? I tell you what, the best moment of 2019 for me was the Tez Ilyas show on Channel 4, but let's stop being self-indulgent. Objectively, the best moment for me of 2019 was when England won the Cricket World Cup. Ben Stokes, absolute hero, man. I was gassed. Prince Andrew had a sick year, innit?
That's very kind. Thank you very much indeed.
Oi, this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, yeah? I mean, we all know he didn't kill himself, right? Who's interested in that this guy died? Tinfoil hats at the ready, please. Oh my God, my personal worst moment of 2019 was meeting Boris Johnson's father, the Prime Minister's father, Stanley Johnson.
I said, would it be better, would it get me on the Tory list for MPs if I call myself, as I probably could, Mustafa?
Why would that have helped?
Well, because we were getting very ethnic. The Tory party was getting very ethnic at that stage, I can tell you.
Not helping and...
Not fine, they knew you were going to...
And fucking hell. Madness. Absolute madness. Been a bad year for my guy, Jeremy Corbyn. The election, man. How depressing was that? I mean, some would say it all went downhill the night I took over Jeremy Corbyn's Instagram. I don't blame me in it. It's not my fault, bruv. Come on. Come on, Jeremy!
The ITV debate.
They don't like my attitude. I think the real irony of Jeremy's loss was on Christmas Eve, he was out there handing out presents, whereas Boris Johnson, the guy who won the election, our Prime Minister, jetted off to a private island in the Caribbean. It's been a great year for Boris Johnson, isn't it? Finally got what he wanted. We have some wonderful news from the UK. Boris Johnson has been confirmed as the Prime Minister of the UK. Forced Theresa May to resign. Theresa May, let's be honest, will be remembered as one of the worst Prime Ministers that has ever lived. He is a woman who has presided over cruel policies, and when she cried on that doorstep of 10 Downing Street as she resigned,
to serve the country I love.
Tasty salty tears, no sympathy in that. But then, you know, sometimes better the devil you know, and now we've got this guy, the Antichrist, Boris Johnson in, so we'll see what he does. One of the saddest stories in our country this year was the London Bridge attack, which was an absolute tragedy. You had a young lad called Jack Merritt who was sadly killed. This is the thing, right? It's such a shame that there's absolute wonderful people in the world, and in our country exists like young Jack Merritt. Jack Merritt was a guy who was working very, very hard to rehabilitate prisoners, to create policies that didn't demonize people for the rest of their lives if they commit a crime. He was a guy that wanted to bring people back into the light from the cold. His father spoke so powerfully about the legacy that Jack Merritt wanted to leave behind.
He was an exceptional person, but probably more exceptional than I realised.
And it sadly looks like that is going to be trampled on by a government who are already announcing tougher sentencing laws, which is everything that Jack tried to work against.
Jack would have been extremely upset at the way in which things were developing.
That attack was very sad, but also extraordinary in the fact that ordinary civilians came together to tackle this bastard, for want of a better word, man. One guy grabbed a narwhal tusk. Bro, I had to Google what that is, innit? I don't know what narwhal tusk. I'm from Blackburn. We don't have narwhal tusks in Blackburn, innit? You can't buy them from the market in Blackburn, innit? I was like, what is this thing? It came out and just some guy had a fire extinguisher. That's a sick weapon, you know. If you ever come up against someone, just grab a fire extinguisher. What can they do against that? Unless they got a gun, in which case don't. But if they got like a knife or something, bro, that's fire extinguishers. You got range on that, innit? You can step back and sick. Brexit's been dragging on, innit? Oh, like a bitter, bitter divorce. I don't know, my guy's getting his hair blow dried. I hope you can hear me. But that's how messy Brexit is. Oh, it's been a big year for climate change, you know? I mean, it's been a big year for climate change every year for the last 3 decades. But it seems like there's been a turn in people's awareness of it. We had Extinction Rebellion in the UK, locking off roads, locking off bridges, disrupting people's lives and stuff. Greta Thunberg, person of the decade and that, man, she's so sick. The way she's been going at people, and she has galvanized an entire generation, all of Generation Z and the guys below it. I don't know what's going to be called, Generation ZZ top, I don't know. She's like galvanized all of those guys, yeah, to care about climate change. Big up to her, man, and hopefully this will be the decade where we actually take action. Notre Dame Cathedral got set on fire in Paris. Billionaires around the world came together and raised 450 million to restore the Notre Dame Cathedral. How nice is that? You know, the G7 countries together, the richest 7 countries in the world, raised 16 million to fight the Amazon rainforest fires. It's mad, isn't it? I mean, one is a disaster for the entire world. The other is very sad, but ultimately no one's gonna die from it, innit? If the Amazon rainforest, once that's gone, it's gone, innit? I think it'd be nice if over the next decade, rich people actually put their priorities straight. I mean, the Amazon fires thing has been raging all year, isn't it? It's not just Amazon as well, there's been bushfires in California, there's been fires in Australia. Oh, the world is burning, man. I mean, literally, but also metaphorically as well. There are protests all over the world. It's like the Arab Spring, but like everywhere now. It's happening in Lebanon, Chile, Iraq, Sudan, India, Hong Kong, like it's everywhere. Just the world just seems so upset right now. There's a rise of populism on one hand and the rise of street level protests on the other hand. And the two things are just almost clashing against each other, man. It is quite inspiring actually to see people all over the world rising up for their rights. We do not want to be governed by iron fists and a foot over our necks. We want freedom. And then you've got this rise of populism all over the world. You've got Modi, this fucking fascist in India, who's bringing these perverse laws that disproportionately affect Muslim communities in India that have been there for centuries, bruv. And he's not alone, man. You've got Trump doing what he's doing, and now we've got mini Trump in Great Britain, in Boris Johnson, and Dominic Cummings being the shit whisperer in his ear. You've got people like Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia, he's a bad egg. You've got Netanyahu in Israel, another bad egg. This is 28 days later. This is the infection, man. This is what it looks like. I mean, all those zombie films, they're all just metaphors, aren't they? This is what it looks like, bruv. We're entering 2020, a new decade. Love your families, man. Love your friends. Squeeze them, hug them, hold them tighter. But also just volunteer in your local community, innit? Look in your local community, see what's going on. Where can you lend a hand? Is it about putting on workshops? Is it about helping with food banks? Is it about going litter picking? What is it in your community that you can do to help make the world a better place? Because the world is mad, innit? We can all get mad about what's happening in China and India and Israel and Saudi Arabia and in Chile and in Hong Kong and all these places. And to be honest, in other parts of Britain that we don't live in, we can get mad about all those stuff and all those things are valid. But in reality, we can't really affect those things. All we can do is get angry and it's not healthy. But what you can affect and change is your own communities. You can make a positive difference in the place where you live. You can volunteer, you can get involved in local politics, you can, I don't know, man, there's a million and one things you can do, innit? Go out there and research, don't be lazy. I don't know where you live, I don't know what's going on in Darlington, innit? Just go out there and find out. Listen, big up Double Down News. It's a new year, a new decade. You need media that's not beholden to billionaire oligarchs, innit? So you know what? Donate, innit? This is your service. The more money you put in, the more stuff like this they'll be able to do. They want to create a podcast. They've got so many big plans in that. So go on the Patreon, keep sharing the videos, and let's grow this network, man. Let's grow this. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Can I get my haircut now, please?